Hey there, and welcome to Workforce Pulse, the podcast for recruitment and staffing founders who are ready to grow, scale, and shake up the industry. I'm your host, Kirutika Munusamy, and I'm so glad you're here. This is where we have real, no nonsense conversations about what it takes to build a thriving business in recruitment and staffing. Forget the fluff. We're all about the strategies that actually work, shared by the people who've been there and done it. A quick shout out to our sponsor, Ambrosial Automations. At Ambrosial Automations, we are your behind the scene growth partner. We help recruitment and staffing businesses streamline their operations, bring in quality leads, boost sales, and scale, all without the risky upfront cost. We work on a revenue shared model, so we don't succeed unless you do. If you're curious about how it works, head over to ambrosialautomations.com for a free 12-month growth plan that's tailored just for you. All right, let's dive in. Today, we have a special guest joining us, Matt Arnold, Senior VP at Smith Arnold Partners. With years of experience in talent acquisition, Matt specializes in connecting top tier professionals with companies and industries ranging from technology to finance and healthcare. Beyond his recruitment expertise, he's also an advocate for cybersecurity awareness, having shared valuable insights on preventing cyber threats in the workplace. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So, Matt, tell us more about yourself, your background, and the role within Smith Arnold Partners.
Okay, yes. Well, I've been recruiting for over 28 years. I'm based in Stamford, Connecticut, but do most of my work around New York City, Manhattan, New Jersey, Connecticut, really the East Coast primarily. I place a lot of different types of information security, cybersecurity architects, leadership roles, directors, CISOs, but a lot of architecture work in security. And that also kind of pivots into other architecture roles like enterprise architecture, solutions architecture, even different types of cloud infrastructure. And lately, we've been doing a lot more with generative AI, from the data science, engineering architecture side, kind of building those capabilities in different industries. I also manage, our information technology practice, help kind of, manage the business as well. But I still run full desk, marketing, business development, recruiting. So kind of do everything in that vein.
Got it. So, Matt, what are the big trends that you're seeing in the industry right now?
Well, I would say, in the US, the technology market has been sluggish. I don't know how it's been in India. It's probably not, it's probably been better. So we're kind of going through, I would say about a year and a half, 2 year kind of slowness in the market in the US. And it does seem like things have been getting better this year in this quarter and kind of picking up and getting back to normal. So with that kind of getting back to normal and the market getting better, we do see things picking up in security, again, generative AI, and the data engineers that have to prepare the data so that you can actually do the AI work within it. That's a very hot area this year. There's still those transformational architecture kind of, digital, moving things to the cloud or rising environments from an infrastructure or data perspective. Those are still there as well. One thing we have seen, it's still a little bit slow, like with software development. That should come back, as the market, rebounds. But I would say, a lot of generative AI is a big thing. Security is, I think, going to become, back to normal and become, more urgent to find good security people. People kind of working, in different cloud environments, whether it be infrastructure, data. Those are things that are in demand for sure.
Got it. And are there any big challenges that you're seeing?
From an agency recruiting side,
Yes.
when it is a slow, a little bit slower, and there has been a good amount of layoffs in the U.S., the challenge is always business development and marketing. That's where you have to spend more time. You have to be more thorough, more organized. You have to follow up. And the big thing for marketing in the US right now is the cadence in the way that you market, the types of different follow-ups you have to do to hopefully even get the companies that you don't work with to want to have a conversation with you. So it
Yeah.
could be a call, then an email, then maybe a message on LinkedIn, then a text, then an email. So unfortunately, it's got to be more of that follow up to kind of get yourself in a position where the companies will want to even consider talking to you and hopefully even see if they might need your help, which
Yeah.
is a little bit more organization to be able to do it effectively.
Yeah. And specifically in the recruitment and staffing industry right now, are there any challenges that you're seeing
In terms of
in terms of
growing
whether
the
it's
business,
not really, whether you're whether it could be talent shortage that you're seeing, or any such trend or a challenge that you're for especially for the recruitment and staffing industry in the US market?
well, I think one of the positive sides when the market is a little slower is it is a lot easier to recruit and identify really strong candidates. So, with recruiting, it could always kind of be one side might be harder than the other side. And when we're in a market like this, it becomes much more difficult and time intensive to do the marketing and business development side, but it becomes easier to make contact with good candidates because they might be more apt to want to know what's going on with the market, what industries are doing better, what do you hear, what do you see, um, so it's actually kind of a good time to even get much better, very strong candidates that you can have start making that good relationship with that individual, and then hopefully, which it will happen when there's a lot of kind of push to with companies really starting to hire, then you'll have more good candidates kind of in your arsenal to present when those good jobs come about. And it does become a little easier to do the recruiting side. And we do a lot of different methods to make contact with people. I mean, we do talk to a lot of people that we don't have relationships with every day. I mean, we have a huge amount of candidates, resumes, and a big, big database with, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of resumes in, but we're always looking for people that we don't know, that we have never spoke with, that we know, that we sometimes people will tell us this individual is extremely good at what they do. Um, and then try to make contact, and even if we're not getting them where they're really looking for a job immediately, hopefully having some conversations with them and forming a long-term relationship that when they are in a position where they do need to look, we'd be able to help them and get their resume and hopefully present them to opportunities that we have. um, so
Yeah.
that's kind of cyclical. So when it's harder to do the business development, a lot of times it's easier to do the recruiting. And then when it's
Yeah.
easier to do the marketing, it becomes harder to recruit the good people. So
Yep, got it. Are there any big initiatives Smith Arnold Partners is working at the moment?
on positions we're recruiting on,
Big initiatives that you guys are planning on?
I mean, we're always looking for people. We had some new start today. I mean, we're looking to always expand certain areas. I mean, like you mentioned, we do technology, but we also have a very large healthcare practice. We do a lot of work in psych within healthcare, a lot of work within the finance department, finance area as well, placing auditors, directors of finance, controllers, CFOs. And again, that area has been pretty good. I mean, it hasn't really been affected, as much as technology has. And we also have a construction division, which has been very, very strong. There's been a lot of, new business, building. So construction companies are looking for a lot of different types of, more business people to run these types of projects. Um, so we're always looking to ramp up. We're probably going to be ramping up more in the construction area, the healthcare area, the finance area, and then slowly starting to look for people in the technology area again as it becomes a little bit easier for new recruiters to be able to work in this space with the demand of companies needing our help, because it does take a little bit longer with companies that are willing to partner with us on certain things when they feel they can fill things on their own. But as the market gets back to normal, they'll have more difficulties, and it would be a very good time to break in and get new clients, and kind of really get into technology. Probably a good time to start right now because as the market does seem to turn,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good time to start doing this and get involved, and and it should be a little bit easier to get the business, when you're a new person, new consultant.
Got it. Well, that's interesting. Okay. And what opportunities lie ahead for Smith Arnold Partners this year?
In terms of
Opportunities in terms of whether you're expanding into another sector, another industry, whether you're trying for international recruiting, anything, any such, or government contracts, anything that you're looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be expanding, like I said, our probably construction division because there is
Mm-hmm.
a big demand,
Mm-hmm.
where those types of companies need talent, and it's very hard to find people that are qualified and experienced. Um, we don't really do work with the government. They're like the worst client you could probably ever want to deal with. So we're dealing with just Fortune 500, companies that very, and also, little, tech companies, startup companies.
Yeah.
Um, we're always looking to further our specialty or niche.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably really build out the information security practice more.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we work with lots of different industries from consumer products to insurance to fintech, investments, to high tech software, and we'll probably look to expand, different product, and industry wise for customers, probably more in insurance, investments, fintech, consumer products, ideally. We typically also do a lot of work in the ad tech space.
Okay.
So, and again, we'll do a lot of the work around the East Coast, but we do expand. There is a lot more activity in certain parts of the US over the last couple of years. We'll
Yeah.
probably focus more on doing work like in the South and the West, like Texas has been a
Yeah.
very booming tech area. So that's an area we could probably do a little more business development in and try to get some new clients down there, as well as like the Carolinas, North and South Carolina.
Yeah.
So it'd probably be maybe expanding a little bit out of the East Coast, um, and also trying to really focus in on that leadership security role, that chief information security officer, or
Mm-hmm.
even that high level director. Um, we do try to kind of get in that architecture spot, in security, enterprise security architecture, any type of architecture role that touches anything within cyber or information security. And that will be an area we'll further push. And generative AI, like I mentioned, I mean, that's going to be, I think, a continually growing area, and I know it's hard to find top talent in that space. And the people that can really prepare the data and look for the data integrity and the data quality and the data management to have all access to those data sources so that more sophisticated, modeling can be done to create the generative AI. Someone that understands large language models, embedding, machine learning, deep learning, um, but those people also are very, of course, very good data individuals with that strong data science background, but also the data engineer that really works with that individual to make sure they have that good data to be able to do that work. And that's where I think a lot of demand will be. And that will be an area that I think will continue to grow this year. And
Got it.
companies will struggle finding those types of individuals, the very good ones.
Yeah. So, since you were pressing on the generative AI job market side, do you see how many job availabilities there out in US right now?
I mean, I think there's quite a lot. I mean, I would think probably thousands, I would think, and it will probably continue to grow because it's kind of that, within every 10 years, there'll be a couple of very trendy things that everybody is trying to do, get into as a candidate, and companies are trying to figure out how to use it. And
Yeah.
right now they feel that could bring a lot of value, whether it be saving money or helping them make better decisions. Um, So it should be kind of a trendy thing over the next couple years, So that's probably a very good area, of course, for recruiters to try to focus in on. And the people that do it, the really experienced people, it's hard for companies to find those people. And, that might be a good way to get your foot in the door, again, by marketing candidates, which a lot of recruiters do to develop business. If you find someone very strong in that space that has done this, that might have, a very good stable background, very good educational background, and again, experience with that more advanced kind of data science modeling, like the
Yeah.
the LLMs, the embeddings, the machine learning. It could be a good way to get yourself in the door with a new company if you market that individual to that in that
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. So, what is Smith Arnold Partners' vision for the next 2 to 3 years?
Well, I think that, again, being in business for 28 years, we have seen kind of, and in recruiting, it happens. You'll see these peaks and valleys, and it's not like there's always a deep valley, but there's going to always be a huge uptick where you can really ride the wave and really be successful as a recruiter. And that
Yeah.
usually goes from 8 to 12 years. But no matter what industry you work in, whether it be finance, IT, whatever, there's always going to be that kind of little bit of a dip where it's a little bit harder. And we've kind of been going through that for the last, maybe 2 years in technology in the US. I don't know how it is. I'm sure it's not as bad as India. But
Yeah.
now we're kind of on the uptick again. So, we're really should be in a position where you can really grow the company out numbers wise, people wise, staff wise, kind of really develop some new areas that you might want to focus in, which we're doing. Um, really increase our staff, increase our client base. I mean, it should be, once we really get going and the economy is still okay and we're on this upward tick, it's usually the most fun you can have in this type of job and the most money you
Yeah.
make. So you have to really take advantage and put the effort in, especially from the business development side, to really position yourself where you can find new companies that need our help. Because in recruiting with what we do, there's always going to be great clients, but they're not there forever. So you always have to be looking for that next great client that you can essentially partner with long term. And
Yeah.
they look upon you as an extension of their HR recruiting team or their
Yeah.
technology department. Well, they'll come to us with their more difficult roles. And if you can be consistent with the quality of people that you deliver,
Hmm.
and deliver the right candidate consistently, then you should be able to really get some long-term clients that will really, provide, major success over the next 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's a great time to get into something like this.
That's true. And there's a lot of perspective in this session.
Yeah.
And so that's a wrap for today's episode of Workforce Pulse. Huge thanks to our guest, Matt, for sharing his incredible insights on all the topics he shared. Now, before we go, Matt, where can people find you if they want to connect and learn more about your work?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on LinkedIn. Just search Matthew Arnold, Smith Arnold Partners, and feel free to reach out.
Great. Perfect. So make sure you follow Matt on LinkedIn. To our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. And one more time, if you're stuck in the grind of manual processes or struggling to grow, we can help you optimize operations, bring in leads that convert, boost sales, and scale without the upfront risk. Head over to ambrosialautomations.com to get your free custom 12-month growth plan. All right, that's it for today. Thanks again, Matt. Thank you, everyone,
No
for
problem.
tuning in.
Thank you.
Let's build, grow, and keep the workforce pulse alive. See you next time.